Well, well, well. We are back. That's right, folks. We are back. JR, good to have you back, my brother.
It's good to be here, my friend. Good to be back, for sure.
Oh,
How's it
man.
going?
This baby making love music. I'm all about right here. Oh, my goodness. Janice, good to see you.
Very nice to see you as well. And good to have you back, JR.
Yeah,
It is
absolutely.
so good to be back. So good to be back. Good to see y'all, and good to be back with everybody.
And we missed you. And hey, for everyone who's watching, listening right now, welcome to a Pinch of Basile show. It's Wednesday, February 23rd. Valentine's Day is gone and past us. All the big, the big holidays, Groundhog Day, one of the huge ones. And that's past us. And, listen, I'm just glad that we are back live. Great guests coming up, actually that we're doing. And, we are, listen, it's the best damn radio show / podcast show ever. We go all over the world. I wanted to bring you fantastic guests who are basically the movers and shakers in the world. News, entertainment, authors, politicians, and sports fans basically sports figures all over from the world. I am Basile, your humble and gracious host, by the way, may I add, along with our sweetheart of the ball, Miss Janice Hermson, and our ebony brother of love and chief engineer, J.R. Quitman. And we are indeed broadcasting our show, streaming it live on Twitch at a Pinch of Basile.
Hey, Basile. I got to interrupt you. I'm so sorry, but I got to.
I'm on a roll.
So have you? I know.
It's rolling.
I'm on a roll.
I'm the ebony brother of love.
Mother of God. Yeah.
And what the heck was I? I couldn't even hear what you said. I'm some kind of
said you are basically the sweetheart of the ball.
Oh, my Lord.
Really? You don't like that?
I don't know. What do you think?
Great.
What do you think, Chair? I mean, ebony brother, that's one thing, but sweetheart of the ball? Really?
Oh my God, you are Cinderella. I mean,
I'll agree with that. I agree with that for sure.
There you go. See, and you're having issues, and you
guys, I don't know.
Hey, you toughed it out. You toughed it out for us tonight for everybody.
Yeah,
we were going through all kind of technical difficulties.
We were, and we still made it.
But we made it, baby.
Still made it.
We made it.
Avram is listening to us, and Avram, I got your presentation. I'm giving you everything, and we'll talk this weekend because I am going to be in your area. So we're going to lunch, and but for all of you who are listening and watching all over the world, we are indeed broadcasting our show and streaming live on Twitch at a Pinch of Basile, Facebook at Basile Fans, Twitter at Basile Fans, YouTube at Basile the Comedian. Now listen, you subscribe to that. It's free, for God's sakes. It really is. And you get a chance to see all of my wonderful videos. And of course, you can catch us through Anchor and 8 different outlets, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, just to name a couple. And let's not forget Greek Beat Radio, which takes us around the world. That's right, from Australia, South Africa, Europe, North America, and Central and South America, where I have a huge Latino following. I didn't know I did until I just made that up. Anyway, so if you guys can, make sure you guys
like being the belle of the ball.
You're very bitter about that. You got to let it go, Janice. Just let it go. Listen.
So we could just be out here just firing off lies, just spitting them out, just making shit up as we go.
How long have you known me? You're just figuring this crap out now.
Good point. You got me on that. My bad. I apologize. Continue, sir. Continue.
Listen, we're all over the world. I want to hear from all my great fans from around the world, from Australia, from England, from throughout Europe. And I know Europe is a little bit testy right now. So, hey, you may want to listen to this show and get a little bit of fun and love in there and try and laugh a little bit.
Hey, you better talk about the truckers, because you got Canadian truckers, you've got truckers all over the world.
Well, let me tell my truckers something. You keep doing what you're doing and protest the way you should protest, and protest peacefully, but make yourself listen, what's going on in Canada, I feel sorry for my Canadian brothers and sisters. I really do. I'm just being honest with you. Now they're going to try and take away because they don't agree with their prime minister. I'm sorry. I just don't think a lot of your prime minister. Okay. I really don't. It's tough to be a political head of a country, but my God, come on. They want to take your dogs away. Did you read that? They want to take your dogs away.
Yeah. And the truckers, the convoy from California, there were about 1,000 of them that left Southern California today, and I know Utah's on its way. I know that they're going to pick up all along that route. So too bad you're not going to be playing anywhere near Washington D.C., huh?
No, I'm not. And listen, D.C. traffic is bad enough. To be honest with you, I certainly.
Oh, they have these crazy things on the bridge on that bridge in Maryland. I think it's to stop the truckers. They just put them on there.
Is it the Eisenhower Bridge that takes you from 95?
I think it was I saw Chesapeake somewhere along there. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm really bad at
the Chesapeake Bridge. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I saw a video with that, and I was like, oh no. So,
And
but I
Eddie
can't imagine the trucks trying to go right into DC, would they?
Well, who knows what they're going to do? And of course, listen, if I get too political, it gets a little bit too crazy for me.
Well,
Eddie Floyd.
That's all about just America and
Yeah,
Canada
I know.
and Europe and everywhere. Don't go political, Basil. Just talk about right.
Yeah, it is right. You're allowed to protest peacefully.
Yes.
Protest peacefully.
Absolutely.
If you're going to protest and break stuff, well, you're going to have some issues, but protest peacefully. Hey, we got Eddie Floyd is actually listening to the show.
How about that? Thanks, Eddie.
How about that, Eddie Floyd? Anyway, listen, we want to hear from you. That's right. We want to hear from you. You guys can give us a call at 844-523-2633, 844-523-2633. You can call that 800 number right now. And have you guys had this issue where you got to now dial, when it's a local call, a 1 and the area code? Have you noticed this?
We were told, we were told we were going to have to do that, but it has not happened yet. So
it's happened to me.
Huh?
Really?
Yeah. If you make a local call from your home, not from your cell phone, because you always got to put in the area code in your cell phone, right?
Right.
But if you do it,
I never do.
You talking about from a landline? I mean, who the hell has a landline? What the hell are you talking about? I'm sitting here looking at my phone numbers like, well, damn, mine all have a 1. What the hell you mean, a landline?
First of all, let's get a couple of things straight. All right. The number one, don't mess with me because I got a long night. I got to churn the butter as soon as I get back to my home. So I got a lot of stuff I got.
I'm guessing that's true.
And then don't forget, tomorrow's Buggy Whip Day. That's right. We're creating about 20 Buggy Whips tomorrow. So absolutely, we want to hear from all of you. We really do. It's been a long month, and I got to be honest with you, man. All the news that's been happening with the truckers, we support you. We support anyone to protest about anything as long as it's peaceful. That's all I ask, okay? Some of the other stuff, listen, you can email us as well. That's right. Email us, all of our special fans, at info@a-pinch-of-basile. Spell Basil with an E. Again, info@a-pinch-of-basile. Follow me. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Basile Fans, BASILEFANS. Concert dates. Hey, this weekend I'm going to be in Palm Harbor, Florida. I believe what I found out, we have 6 sold out shows.
Wow.
But if you want, so it's kind of crazy. It's in Palm Harbor, a place called Snappers. So Snappers Comedy Club for all you Floridians out there. If there is room and if you guys can squeeze in there, I'm going to give you the phone number, 727-937-3737. Again, 727-937-3737 at Snappers in Palm Harbor, Florida. And guess who's going to be there tomorrow night, Janice?
Who's going to be there?
Good friend, Congressman Gus Bilirakis will be there.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, he will be there. Good man, Gus.
Say hello for me.
Yeah, I will. I'll say a hello from all of us. To find out more, just go to my website at basilelive.com, BASILELIVE.com, and check out all of our dates, fundraisers, corporate events, private parties, theaters, comedy clubs. Email me at basil@Basil Live, BASILE@BASILELIVE.com. Hey, in a few minutes, our guest, Kenny Werner, fantastic author of his new book, Becoming the Instrument: Lessons of Self-Mastery from Music to Life. That's going to be a fantastic. As a matter of fact, we had one of our guests that we had on before, Maria Jacobs, our wonderful jazz singer, and she goes, he's unbelievable. So I can hardly wait.
That's
I'm
cool.
really looking forward
That's
to
real
this.
cool.
Maybe he can teach me something. I doubt
Right.
it because I know just about everything. But you never know.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Thank
like
you,
the
Bell of the
subtitle.
Ball. There you go, Bell of the
she
Ball.
is. There she is.
Oh, joy.
But speaking of his book, I like the there's a quote on the web on the here. I'll put it back up for everybody to see here. But the quote here: perfection 360 degrees of soul and science in one human being, my kind of musician. That's from Quincy Jones right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good stuff right there. So yeah, that should be really cool. Should be a lot of fun to talk to him.
How old is Quincy?
I'll find out.
I'm kind of curious because
talk amongst yourselves. I'll find out.
I want to know. I really want to know. I'll tell you why. Because Quincy started off back in the day. He was a youngster, but started off back in the day. I got a chance to see the movie. Oh my God, what was
33? So he's about to be 90. He's 88 years old.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Because they had the movie about. He is. He had to be. And I was wondering. I mean, but listen, to get any type of a quote like that from Quincy Jones,
you know what I mean?
Oh, hell
that's amazing, right?
To say the least, absolutely. Yeah. Anything else we want to discuss? What did you do for Valentine's? You could do anything, man. JR.
Well, I don't know if you heard us on the old quick pinch earlier today, I bragged about booking the flight to Paris and renting a restaurant out for the wife, all that good fancy stuff that us rich folk do, that kind of thing.
The only Paris you're looking at is plaster of Paris. That's about it. Like I told you before, so there ain't going to be no.
No big whoop, nothing big.
You'll put your big ass in a cast made out of plaster of Paris. That's what she's going to do.
I like it.
Oh my God!
But no, nothing much at all. Just kicked it back, took it easy. Cool. The basic stuff.
Yeah, you know what, man? It was all right. It was I was on the ship, and I had to do some stuff, and it was nice. But I had to
do some stuff.
I had to do some stuff.
Well, I'm going to take you guys away from the 14th. I'm going to move us away, and I'm going to move us to yesterday. Do you know what yesterday was? That
President's
the day
Day.
that it was President's Day, but it was the day
Wednesday.
that
Never mind.
Pluto returned to America, right? So people are saying, and this is from, I don't know, hitc.com. It says people are saying that today's Pluto return, which was yesterday, is significant for America as the planet has returned to the exact degree and sign it was in during the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776.
Wow!
How about that? I think that's pretty amazing, actually.
That's amazing. Goodness, that's a lot.
It is a lot. Come on, you guys.
That's impressive. That's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, that. Ooh.
And well, coincidentally, if you're into numerology,
yeah, of course,
and it's all with the 22222 stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Repeated numbers are known as master numbers, so they have a really strong energy. And so some people think that maybe this is like the destruction and the rebirth all on one day. How about that?
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
Well, I think
You wanted to know what was up. It's also Banana Bread Day, so
Oh, now you got something. Okay,
hey,
now you have some. You give me some soft cream cheese and banana bread.
I've never had cream cheese on banana bread. I just eat it plain.
No, just you gotta have soft banana, soft cream cheese, and then go ahead and put some orange marmalade on that bad boy with the banana bread. You'll be thanking me later.
You're ruining
that's too much.
the banana
that's
bread.
Too much.
No,
just give me a good warm piece of banana bread.
Yep.
Oh, with nothing on it.
Yep.
You gotta have. You want some good stuff. You gotta have some Greek kataifi. It's
Anything
I
like
can't even say that.
Yeah, I mean, but it sounds
come on
delicious,
together
right?
with me. Kataifi.
That's so he can make fun of us.
No. Melo Mocaro. Now that might have
Melo Mocaro.
Melo Mocaro.
Yeah, no problem.
That's my favorite.
No problem.
No, listen. I love some, and then it's Easter time coming soon, man. I mean, Clean Monday is like on the 7th of March for us and for the Greek Orthodox faith. And what happens? We're going to get sureki, that sweet, moist Greek bread. Man.
Ooh, it sounds delicious.
It is.
You got me. I mean, you got me.
As a matter of fact,
sweet and moist. I'm good. That's a perfect combination.
Well, wasn't that your nickname, Sweet and Moist?
Yes.
Growing up as
yes, sweet.
I am not buying any of this, boys.
They just
yes, it was. Yep.
Nope.
Yo, Sweet Moist. Okay. There are just some things I do for me. I don't care about anything else. All right. Sweet and moist. That was
but yeah. I mean, sweet and moist. That's what they used to call me.
Good. As a matter of fact, I will be good. I'm going to be near Easter time. I'm going to be in Reno, Nevada. I'm going to be at the one of Silver Legacy Casino.
Hey, I think I need to call my sister because I think I'm out of town in April.
Yeah. Nice. Wow. Yeah, for the guy who woke up for our first meeting at 7:00 in the morning because that was the only time you can make it, and all of a sudden, I can't be there now.
Let me think about this.
The bell of the ball got things to do. Evidently.
Yeah, busy. The bell of the ball's got a full schedule.
I'm a busy gal.
Hey, it sounds like I need to book me a flight to Vegas in April to come hang out with y'all.
You know what?
Don't go to Vegas. You'll be 8 hours away.
Yeah, you got to go
to Reno.
You got to go to Reno.
Got you. Okay.
You know what? It doesn't look that far. If you look at a map, it really doesn't. I've
had so many business associates offer to go to coffee with me from that are going to be in Vegas, right? They say, maybe we can go have coffee. I'm like, if you want to book me a flight.
It doesn't look that far.
No.
It really doesn't.
No, I always assumed it was close. I didn't know it was 8 hours
I know.
away.
A lot of people do. Yeah, it's true. You're not alone, JR. I'm just giving you a bad time. I gave Basil a bad time. I had to give you a bad time too.
It's all good. I deserve it for sure.
7:00 in the morning to have coffee.
Can I show y'all this picture? Can I show you and everybody this picture? It blew my mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it a picture
Who
of
do you
Pluto?
think is older? So we got Bill Murray and Ahmad Rashad right here.
Oh my Lord.
I want to say, well, the way it looks, you would think it's Bill Murray, but I would venture to say, because I know when Ahmad played ball and when he played ball, so I'm going to say Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah. I mean, he's Ahmad Rashad 71, Bill Murray 72. Blew my damn mind when I saw the picture.
The lighting.
No, Bill Murray looks bad.
But it could be the lighting.
On my screen also, my screen, it looks a little better just looking at my other monitor here, but like it's not as, as I don't know, sharp. Mine's a little more sharp than it looks here, but
however, I will say that Bill Murray is probably one of the most genius
incredible
actors and I mean he just makes me laugh. It doesn't matter. I mean, I could watch Groundhog Day over and over and over again. It's
I love Scrooged. Scrooged was my favorite.
Scrooge had a message, though. That's why I loved it. It had a message.
Oh yeah.
And and that's the one thing that I really loved. Hold on for a second. And that was the one thing that I always loved. About movies like that. There's a message.
Yeah, definitely.
Always, to be kind and to be giving and to be understanding. And that's what I love. And that's what, that's why our show is so great. We're kind, we're understanding. We have wonderful people on our show. We have the belle of the ball here with us. The belle of the ball. We got
not many shows can say that. Not many shows can say they have the belle of the ball and the ebony, the sweet,
the ebony love God,
the sweet, moist ebony love God.
You know what? I think I'm gonna open up a bakery and actually have that for a treat. Yeah, I like some of that sweet, moist ebony love God cake right there. It tastes like banana bread. Yeah, I know, but just go ahead and give me what you got.
Well, the belle of the ball is going to ring the bell and tell you guys that it's time for us to introduce our guest.
Right? Exactly, because the guest is in the lobby. The guest is here.
Yeah, the guest is in the lobby.
Yes,
all right. Well, let me go ahead.
In here.
Let me go ahead and give him his wonderful bio. Kenny, just give me a few minutes. I just got to go through. I would read the whole thing. But first of all, I'm not a good reader. Second of all, it's too damn long because you've done everything, and you deserve to have everything. That I was amazed at looking at your bio. It was just fantastic. So I just want to tell you, he has been a world-class pianist and composer for over 40 years. His prolific output of compositions, recordings, and publications continue to impact audiences around the world. In 1996, he wrote his landmark book, Effortless Mastery, Liberating the Master Musician Within. Werner was awarded the 2010 Guggenheim Fellowship Award for his work, No Beginning, No End, a musical journey exploring tragedy and loss, death and transition, and the path from one lifetime to the next. He has performed with such, this is what part that makes me go crazy. He has performed with such legendary musicians as Dizzy Gillespie, Betty Buckley, Charles Mingus, Bobby McFerrin, Lou Rawls, Pat Metheny, Elvin Jones, and many more. He is the founding musical director of the Effortless Mastery Institute at the Berklee College of Music and has composed for international orchestras, received numerous NEA grants, and has been nominated for an Emmy Award. Kenny, thank you so much for being on a Pinch of Basile show.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you really well.
Well, I got to say, I'm a bad reader, too. I only write them. I don't read.
You only write. You don't read them. Kenny, welcome to the show. First of all, where are you at right now?
I just got home. We live in the Catskills.
Oh,
and
lovely.
I had a little detour that had to go to the city, and I just got home to thank the person that's been watching our new puppy. And then I realized I got to make sure I know how to get into this podcast.
Yeah,
that's why
we try to make it as easy as possible.
That's why it was the last minute, but I was just in New York, and we live in the Catskills. We have a nice thing. This is my studio.
Oh,
Here
lovely.
is my piano.
Great.
And this is where I write music. This is where I practice music, and I am known to occasionally connect with people via this electronic miracle here.
I actually play the Catskills once in a while. I'll play a place in Callicoon, called the Villa Roma.
I know the Villa Roma. Yeah. Wait a minute. What do you mean play?
I'm actually a very, very famous comedian. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't do your homework. If Basile doesn't stick in your mind, it's too late now, Kenny. It's too late. Your acting skills are for crap. Okay,
You changed your name. Shelley Berman. Isn't that who I'm talking to? Shelley Berman.
Oi, such a guy.
No, you know what's great about this? I have to say this honestly. When I'm done helping everybody else find what I found in music or in life because of music, I'm going to become a comedian.
Why? Did you lose a bet? What happened, for God's
No,
sakes?
I just felt like I've been doing music for, you said 40 years. That's when that thing was written. It's closer to 50 years now.
Oh, gosh.
And yeah, I want a new challenge.
And you have a huge
open mic a week or two ago.
You have a huge fan in a wonderful jazz singer that we had on here by the name of Maria Jacobs. And she just went goo goo gaga for you. We do this thing called a little pinch of basil that we do like a teaser show in the afternoon, and just went gaga for you. And she was just telling me, she goes, you have no idea what this man means to me, and getting involved with everything that you've done. And I got so many questions to ask you, but first of all, public speaking. How did you get involved with public speaking?
You know, I'm like every musician. I play. I want to be heard. I want to be paid to be heard. I write music. I want to be heard in great halls, and, you know, just like that. But when I started, it was never really public speaking. It just came naturally. That's why I'm ready to become a comedian next. I mean, it just kind of came naturally to me. You know, when I was a little kid, I have pictures of me standing up at chairs at bar mitzvahs, imitating opera singers and Ralph Cramden, and I was just a little ham, you know. But when I started to explain what was unusual, that I could explain a phenomenon that most people are aware of from musicians, but usually musicians can't really explain it, you know. And I don't know, it just kind of rolled off the tongue. In fact, the book was the end of a process of just a lot of, you know, how you lock in material as you go on. Hey, that works good, so you're always going to use that. And I was trying to give them a feeling of what am I experiencing and what am I not being blocked from, you know. More and more language came up. And eventually I considered the first book, Effortless Mastery, kind of like a data dump. I had found all this material that worked, and I'm going to write it down. And I don't know. I mean, it was definitely not. The reason I know it's real is because it was never anything intentional.
And you know what? I have kind of an equal thing of all these stories and trying to put them together, and I love that. But let me ask you a couple of questions. What would you rather do? Would you rather public speak, or would you play piano and compose?
You know, of course, with the pandemic, I went 2 years where I was hardly playing anywhere.
Right.
But I was teaching more than ever. And what happened was, when you're creative, there's a certain sweet spot you touch in yourself, right? So that was always from the touch of the piano. Suddenly, the people I was working with online, that became my solo, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. In other words, I would see the veil lift from people I was working with, and I said, this is the way I felt when I played a great solo. So, but before that, there was so much action about what I was speaking that I developed something that I think is kind of unique. I call it talk play. So I would come out there and I would play, and I would just get into that. But then I might start saying anything off the top of my head, and sooner or later I would be moving into what I think of as a second language, describing the same thing I just played. Without explaining it, somehow this is a language expressed through the music, and now this is coming out of my mouth. You know,
and some people have actually compared you to Victor Borge, who I thought was perhaps, and I love anytime anyone can be a musician and do jokes, and he was a physical comic as well. When he did the sound effects with, you know, the exclamation mark and, you know,
yes.
And all, you know, and then bringing.
I watched him on TV as a small kid.
Wow!
One of my first experiences of seeing a pianist was a comedian. It's funny, we're on this kind of theme. Same thing with Chico Marx. Same thing with Jimmy Durante. Don't forget,
did Durante play piano as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he had this act where he got frustrated while he was playing, and he would start crashing the piano until the piano was in pieces. way before the Cream started smashing their guitars.
Yeah.
He was on his TV show beating up the piano until it was all on the floor. And him, Chico Marx, Liberace, these were the people on television when I was a little kid. So I always thought of piano as entertaining as well. But here's a funny thing you said about Victor Borge. Early on, when I wrote the book, it really caught the first book. It really caught fire around the world for musicians of a certain ilk, right? And then I got weird invitations to speak. So I got an invitation to speak at a club in LA called Catalina's. It was that was like the Village Vanguard of LA, you know. And I had played there before with different people, but LA is a tough town for jazz because people don't like to come into town to hear music. They all live in the valley or beyond, right? So when they announced it on a Monday night, I was going to speak and play, the place was sold out.
Wow.
And I was like this, you know, I'm going like, you know, I said, I'm really impressed. I don't know how this happened, but from now on, when I have a gig, I'm going to say, I'm going to do a lecture on effortless mastery. And when I get out there, I'm going to go, ha ha, it's really a concert.
Yeah.
And lock the door.
Switch and bait.
Right, and lock the doors, you know. And they all left. And it was like so the first half was me talking and a little playing. The second half was a whole solo piano thing. And one of the great piano players in LA, he's on The Simpsons. He's done all the Mike, oh my God, I just lost his last name, but I don't think you would know him anyway, but he's on half of everything you've ever heard come out of LA. A great jazz piano. He said, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was like Victor Borge meets Deepak Chopra meets Keith Jarrett. And I always held on to that. I thought, wow, that is unique. That's for sure, you know. And it's just been that way. It's been a different career because of that. I don't know. I mean, if I was going to do just one thing, it would be playing. Because when I play, I disappear. And I almost disappear when I talk. But it seems to take a lot more energy. When I play, the hands take over, and I'm watching, you know.
So you look for the reaction of the audience as well, I'm sure.
You don't look for it. What happens is you turn yourself on. And you must know this as a comedian. When you're really on, it's like a light bulb. Something turns you on. Or you can think of it as you turning yourself on. Like in my book, I have quite a liberal idea of what a higher power is. It's whatever you think it is. Because it's really the faith a person has in what is the power source, right? So really, the trick is to turn yourself on, and then the audience watches you turn yourself on, believe it or not. And that's how you communicate to them. You have to light up, and then the room is lit.
Do you have any memories? I should ask. Do you have any memories? Because I want to go back and forth because I'm always into artists who actually love doing public speaking. Has there ever been a time that you got hired or did a concert where nothing impressed them, that they just sat on their hands?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I did. I can't really remember it, but that may have been my own will to forget it. I'll tell you. There can be a few humiliating things. I was once booked in a gig in Germany. Oh, I can't remember the town. I was rarely there. They booked me in a 3,000-seat auditorium.
Right.
That Miles Davis would play. And this is many years ago. Not that many people knew me. And like 25 people showed up. So they canceled the concert, but the guy that had brought me from the hotel wasn't there. And nobody knew what hotel I was staying in. So not only was I humiliated because they canceled the concert, I had to sit in the office while somebody figured out where I was staying. But, you know, no, I think I've always gotten a reaction. I've never thought of it. There's a sweet spot, you know. I mean, listen, if I do that, I'm already in. And that's what I'm talking about in the book. A person can create their own neural pathway where whatever they do has instant connection, or they can be in their conscious mind where they are always doubting themselves. But you can build this thing where if I touch this and it doesn't matter what I touch, I'm in. And if I'm in, the audience, even if it's something they never heard before, I know they'll be in. And you become like a channel, a conduit. But for what? you can identify that, or you can just say, I don't know what that is, but it definitely happens. Somebody turns on the light switch, or you can believe it's just your own cleverness. I don't really think there are any boundaries to what you think the source of your talent or your expression will be at that moment. The only thing is to doubt whatever you think the source is, and you think, no, that can't be true. That is a weak performance. So one of the things I'm teaching in Becoming the Instrument, it doesn't, if you played it, it's right. Why? Because you played it. And the greatest musicians have always had that knack, whether it's Mozart or Thelonious Monk. What convinced us is how completely together they were with what they played, because they played it. And everyone has that power. It's more of a mind over doubt than it is talent.
Well, I think everyone gets a little bit uptight when they go up. If I have an audience, and thank God the audience knows who I am, and and there are times when you can have an audience that knows who I am, and they're like, what are you going to do now? And they love when I riff, and when I riff, I have fun, and that's that light that bulb turns on that you were talking about, that light, that extra thing, that turns you on and switches on. And a lot of people can't find that because sometimes they're a little bit too nervous to actually go and explore. I like digging a hole. And digging a hole and digging a hole. And every time I put another shovel of dirt out of that hole, I'm actually using that material to do a callback on everything that I've discussed, getting to what I really need to do. And people say, my God, that's fearless. But the thing is, I enjoy that. It turns me on. And if it turns me on, they feel it. So I understand completely.
So what do you think what would you identify? And it doesn't matter, it's out there or in here. What would you identify as a source that allows you at that precise moment to let go, trust, and it always succeeds? What would you call it?
What would I call it? I don't know what I would call it, to be honest with you.
Just another region of your mind, and you break into that, and then you're in? Is it just adrenaline? Is it God? Is it Jesus? Is it Charlie Parker?
I think, I'm an ex-athlete, so I think it's the adrenaline. I love the adrenaline. I love the rush of going into an audience of someone I don't really know. I don't know any of these people. Now, JR and Janice, I like going into, that's why they throw me when I go into a meeting, and it could be anything. I can go into a director's office. I can go into a producer's office. I can go to a network's office, whoever is going to be the showrunner or the agent or whatever. The first thing I just do is walk around their office and start looking at their pictures. And I'm like, hey, I love this. This is a great picture. Where did you, and being Greek, I remember there was a guy who was Lithuanian, and it sounded like a Greek last name. And I really thought he was Greek, even though he was blonde hair, blue eyed. He was Lithuanian, but I kept on, and I kept asking him, I kept talking in Greek to him and everything. The guy's just nodding, and all of a sudden I go, what part of Greece from? It's a place called Lithuania. Yeah, I never heard of that part in Greece.
So let me just jump in on your experience, right? If you think it's adrenaline, you're correct. Because there's no alternative to being correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is no incorrect, because if there was, then you'd worry that was a possibility. But when you get in that situation, whatever wacky way you're going is going to be correct. They don't know it yet, but you already can feel it. So if you were to identify adrenaline, and JR, by the way, very nice to meet you. Janice, very nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
This is already a different feeling than any interview I've ever done, but
good. That's what we want. That's what we want.
The Holy Spirit, you'd be right. If you said it was adrenaline, you'd be right. And you made the point that my book makes. You could also walk into a boardroom. Now, the thing that the book asserts is that you can cultivate that part of your brain that believes, and it takes practice. And when you're practicing it, you don't put yourself in a situation. Let's say you're not like you or me or however you are.
Right.
How do you become that? There's a certain practice you have of having complete union and confidence in what you're doing, even if you know it's wrong. When you take failure and it doesn't change your sense of consequences, you never fail.
Mm-hmm.
You consider it, wow, this is great. You said, is there a time when they sit in their hands? I thought you were going to say, is there a time you went in there and you had nothing? And I would say yes. But what happened was I said, great, I have nothing. And 2 bars later, I had something.
Don't you think that takes a lot of confidence on the part of that person? I mean,
absolutely.
You have to have a certain level of confidence to be able to respond that way and not react.
Absolutely, Janice. But I am asserting it can be practiced and it can be developed. And the way you practice it is by doing creative things and not stopping to consider whether they're successful or they're foolish. Now, you have to do it in a non-consequential place. But if you open yourself to that part of the brain, you may notice that in situations where you're still measuring and trying to, survive other people's, you may notice that there's something you've been practicing that allows it to open up more. And that's what Effortless Mastery was about. It was just for musicians. If you touch that instrument, the only mistake you're making is that you could make a mistake. So, and that can be practiced. So I have them play the instrument and think about something else. So now it's not even the only way to get, in my first book, and I elaborate on it in Becoming a Space, there's the conscious mind, which is where all the care and carefulness is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a space where none of those judgments exist. In the conscious mind, you're worried about a performance. In the space, you're in this moment, and that performance hasn't happened yet. In the conscious mind, you think there are consequences to the performance. In the space, there are no consequences. So it's actually something I stumbled on as a novice, obviously. I'm not a scientist, but it really works, and it's worked with many people. Taking them into a space and practice being in the space. Don't practice succeeding. Practice being in the space. And then they will come back to me with their journals or call me in the middle of the night. Man, I went in there, I went into the space, and I don't even know what I played, but everybody said, you never sounded like that before. So it started with music, which is why I'm confident what I'm saying, because the book is Becoming the Instrument, Lessons in Self-Mastery from Music to Life. And I wouldn't presume to tell everybody about life, but I have learned some things that are absolutely true through music. And that's what people found. They were opening up, taking chances, but they had to practice something at home.
I'm sorry, Janice, was I interrupting?
No, go right ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I have a question. So
the pen. You got to bring the pen up. You got to bring the pen up.
Don't be sorry.
But no, so was there a moment or a performance or anything that had happened to make you want to develop a stronger mindset going into your performances, or was this always your mindset as a performer going through?
It came in, JR, through the back door. What I mean to say is everybody thinks music is so important, right? I grew up in Long Island, New York, and art was not really a big deal. You watch television. So when I found that I had an artistic flair, I didn't have the requisite respect. I mean, this is weird, but I'm being honest with you. So I would I walked into the Village Vanguard, if you know New York at all. It's the mecca of jazz in the whole world. That's where Coltrane live at the Vanguard, Bill Evans live at the, And I was a kid in high school, and I think Herbie Hancock was playing. And when they got off the stage, I went up and started playing solo piano because I was stupid. Because I wasn't thinking, this is Herbie Hancock. I would never dream of walking up there. So what happened was I had a natural lack of respect, not in general, but when I was about to play. When I was about to play, I was dumb enough to believe that no one ever played the piano before me. So I didn't have any ghosts in my head, right? Now, when I started to play with people who did have the respect, I noticed that they were closing their eyes, but it's not what they were into the music. They were so hoping they would play well. And I'm thinking, why are you worrying about that, man? I don't even know why anybody's here. Why aren't we all home watching television? You know? So this became something that I later learned was a philosophy that goes back to the beginning of mankind. Detachment is something you can find in the Vedas. You can find it in the Mahabharata. You can find it in spiritual texts, you know, like the thing of the Jewish one, you know, I'm blanking out because I just got out of the car, you know, or, you know, the spiritual heart of every religion is identical. And it's funny how much detachment is a part of it. So a person can be of this world, but not attached to this world. So I had this natural detachment, which allowed me to spread out every time I played. I thought, well, he's going to like this. I don't realize that's Herbie Hancock. And then the funny thing was the bass player and drummer, Billy Hart, and I think, I can't remember.
They came in?
Started playing with me.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought this stupid kid from Long Island, but you know what? He sounds pretty good. You know? So ignorance can be a sort of a bliss. So I didn't start in an artistic family with this, oh my God, Mozart. You know, I played in the hall that Mozart mostly played in. And I thought, wow, the wood is just vibrating. And I found myself playing differently than I played anywhere else. So when I started to realize that this was something to cultivate, I just naturally shared it. If someone, and I didn't teach because I ever wanted to teach anybody. Someone said, teach. And I said, nah, I'm a player. They said, pays $150. I said, what time? You know, that's all it was. But
exactly.
Sometimes if there's one thing I'd like people to know is that you don't have to be particularly wise to own wisdom that you don't even know is yours.
Hmm.
You know,
actually,
say,
hey, Basil, you're in luck now, huh?
Yeah, I
found someone who thinks like me. Finally, someone has come around. You've read my book, evidently. I mean, well, just out of curiosity, what part of Long Island you're from?
South Shore, Oceanside.
Oh, okay, I'm from a place called Middle Island. I was my father had a restaurant in Riverhead, and well, I'm Greek. There. Yeah, I'm Greek, and you know it is what it is. You know, you have to own a restaurant for God's sakes.
Wow.
So yeah, and
Riverhead was all the way on the end of Sunrise Highway.
No, absolutely. You know, if you want to go to Montauk or Orient Point, you got to go through Riverhead. Doesn't really matter. Got to go to the traffic circle with there was the greatest Howard Johnsons in the world right at that traffic circle. And
right.
it was a wonderful place to grow up. And then I left and really never went back. But you know, the one thing that I always get a kick out of is to see people express themselves in a way in a book. And you did this in both, you know, in both your books. Well, yeah, I think you have 3 books out, correct?
2 books.
2 books? Okay. First of all, for the audience, how do they get the books? And that's the most important thing. And what is your website so we can make sure that we have everything where people can go ahead? Janice, you have the book in your hand?
I do.
Okay, put it really close to the camera.
We also
there we go.
There we go. We also put his website on the banner in front too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, these are the usual way, you know. My website has a very unusual name, kennywerner.com.
Oh my God. How do you write that? Hold on.
It was another one of those.
How did you come up with that?
I think my father came up with it.
There you go.
The Kenny part, you know. And then it's on every book site, you know, Amazon, B&N, you know, and it'll probably be in some bookstores too, if there are still bookstores.
Right.
There are.
Yeah, thank goodness there still are some, yeah.
There are, yes.
Oh my gosh. You know, your favorite audiences, where are they around the world? Are they in Europe, in Asia? Are they in America, North America? Where's your favorite audience?
Oh, well, I mean, it could happen anywhere. I'm really always amazed. The thing that I never knew how I felt about, like, let's say I just landed in Australia and there are 10 people there that never heard me play, but they all had my book. And I'm thinking, I don't know how I feel about that. Did you ever hear me play? You know? But I got used to it because what it did is it gave me a permission that I already gave myself. Whatever I played, it wasn't in or out, jazz or country. It was that guy that wrote the book.
Yeah.
And it gave me my own category, and it really did open the music up. I would say Paris is a good one. Munich is a good one. You know, it really doesn't matter these days. There's always a nice little medium of an audience wherever I go, and anywhere, you know, New York, Boston, LA, even San Francisco. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a network these days. Somebody doesn't have to be from anywhere to know anything about anyone anywhere else.
Right.
It's true. Yeah. It's very true.
So I want to make sure, any future books? Is there something else that you're coming up with?
I don't know. You know, I was thinking of one called The Lazy Yogi, you know, because I want to emphasize more how little work it takes to find God.
The Lazy Yogi followed up by the boo-boo story. Okay, anyway.
You know, what happens is you load up on things that you have presented to help liberate other people.
Sure.
And after a while you go, I think I got another data dump here. And so it's really a product of a lot of stuff I explore. When I say I explored it, I don't know how it is for you, Basil, because I think, you know, if you're vamping, that it's just coming through you. Almost everything I've ever written first came before I had any idea if it was true.
Right.
But it felt true. And then somebody tried it and they said, that was miraculous. I said, oh, good. And eventually I started trying it myself. You know, there were exercises that I didn't do myself till 20 years after I suggested it to somebody. So it's a very weird biography, you know, or whatever you want to call it, but it's mine. And that's the
and
message.
It works for you.
Well, that's the message. I say in the foreword, I think there's some very funny moments in this book. I said there's some very funny moments in this book, or at least I think so. And that's the point. You know, because when a person honors what they think, and that gets to be a habit, their creativity starts to, the difference between a student and an artist, a student's always questioning what they're doing. An artist loves what they're doing. That's why Willie Nelson, how does he do that for 70 years? He probably plays guitar the way he played it the first day.
Yeah, but the thing is with Willie Nelson, he just doesn't remember.
Well, yeah,
he's so stoned.
Exactly. He's just playing. He's just playing the
right. But I mean, what about Bob Dylan?
Just high, and he's just up there playing, baby.
Right. You know, and singing. What about Bob Dylan? I personally didn't connect with him any other way, except I'm thinking, God, that's some god awful singing, isn't it? And then I saw all my friends' collections, all my intellectual friends, and always said Bob Dylan, and I said, really? Voice, doesn't it? Yeah, but did you hear the message? I couldn't get past the voice, to tell you this.
I don't blame you.
So how does that phenomenon happen? Well, the person goes out there with an inner conviction of what they're saying, and people latch onto it. In society, that's very frightening. In music and art, it's very wonderful.
Wow.
That's, you know, it's really enlightening. I would love to actually catch one of your shows, and I would love to actually see one of your motivational talks. I really would, because I agree with you. I like walking in, and what you said earlier about the confidence, that to me is, if you have confidence that we're both ex-jocks, you know, JR and myself, and you had that confidence. Me. No, well, you're the belle of the ball. You know, you're the belle of the ball.
I was going to say, who's the both you're talking about?
Yeah, Janice was a middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears. That was the time.
Right? I used to bowl on Saturdays, and then I had to be moved back from AAA to AA because the ball was coming in too fast. So that's the jock I was. You know. But you know what? Loving yourself, loving your failures, makes an extremely generous life.
But you also learn from failure, which is probably one of the coolest things in the world. Like, you could do a show, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do my show in 2 different languages. So I do it in Greek and I do it in English.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. And I really appreciate it. And there are times when I learn, you know, you may have a show that you're not crazy about, that you might even hate. Okay. And the thing is, you learn something from it. You learn something from it, from the ambiance in the room and how it was set up and what was going, and people are just looking at you like, and I like to feel that they're in time with me, that they're moving with me, and it's part of it. And I like that. And I like to go, and I'll tell, comics will look at me and say, how did you do that? So you got to go there and you got to have fun. And if you have fun, you got to let it go and just be part of it. And I tell that to all young comedians. I tell it to a lot of actors. You go in for an audition. I go with the attitude, I'm not going to get it, so I'm just going to do it the way that I want to do it.
Can I bounce off that for a second?
Sure.
A couple of times I've had classical musicians call me and say, look, I read Effortless Mastery. I agree with it all. I am auditioning for the first oboe chair of the Chicago Symphony. How do I do Effortless Mastery? So I say, well,
with an oboe?
See, what I'm talking about is brainwashing.
Sure. But
in the good sense. Brainwashing got a very bad name because it was the way it was used. But whose brain doesn't need a good washing? So I'm talking about, what if you were brainwashed and you didn't think failure mattered? Would you ever fail again? So I would say to this guy, which you can think about that for a moment, but so I'm saying to him, well, you don't exactly do Effortless Mastery. You practice playing your instrument and not thinking. And then you notice that your natural reaction is receptivity to the sound you're making instead of all these judgments. But I said to him, and again, I had never said it to anyone before, but I have said it since. But I'll tell you what, if you commit to me right now, that when you go to that audition that day, no matter how it goes, you're going to go out and celebrate that night. So if you screw it up completely, you're going to go out and celebrate. If you commit to me now that you're doing Effortless Mastery. And the guy said he couldn't get too uptight because he was laughing to himself. No matter how this audition goes, he's going to celebrate. So that is a brainwashing technique because we validate ourselves by success and failure. I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that, but in art or music, actually in performance, if you are going to be that aware of success and failure, you have a very good chance of failing. Because one of the things I put out to everybody, think about a time when you really needed to sound good. How'd you sound? Everybody goes like that, And I say, think about when you just, failure is not an option, not because failure is not an option, but because there is no failure. There is one lesson that you can always learn from failure, to love yourself unconditionally. I mean, when you say love yourself unconditionally, what does that mean? As long as I succeed? Well, then that's not unconditional, is it?
Right. Absolutely.
The best opportunity to practice unconditional love is to fall on your face and go, I may not mean this right now, but I am a child of whoever, and I love myself because I don't want to be oppressed or held hostage by this, Mendoza line, failure, success, failure, success. And the only way I even have a saying that's rather guru-like, but it came up recently. There's this, and there's that. And when there's no more, and when that is this, there's no more that.
I'm going to get that tattooed somewhere on my body, I think. To be quite honest with you.
I want to see it.
So you don't want to see where I'm putting it. Yeah,
no. Don't put it with a shutdown. I feel like trying to put material on you. But that's the thing, no matter how serious someone takes it, I say, don't. Play a note, don't listen to it. And it'll reflect in you. Make a decision. Like here's something, a self-mastery from music to life. Took me a lot longer to learn it in life. I said, there are 3 versions of a decision. 2 of them are a success and one's a failure. Let's say there's a musician in a little town and there's one jazz club. And if you play there, you are a real guy. You're a real artist. And if you don't, you just show up to listen, you're a wannabe, right? So you've been thinking of calling the club to offer to play there. So action number 1, you call the club, you go, I've got a great band. We should be playing in your club. And the guy goes, well, great. September 17th, I've got an open day. Great. Success, right? Action number 2. You call the club. I have a great band. We should really play there. The guy goes, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Click. Success. Action number 3, you keep meaning to call him, but you haven't had your coffee yet, or you're not in a good mood, or you're getting ready, or you need to be in a positive space before you make this call, and you never get around to it because you're afraid if you make the call, he might not hire you. That's a failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if he doesn't hire you and you make the call, in other words, what I've taught people that I learned from music, success is making a decision, not whether the decision comes out right. And then once I started to follow that myself, I said, wow, that's so freeing. I've missed so many opportunities because when I had a choice, I was oppressed by whether that decision would work out or not.
Yeah.
Now I say, well, it's done because I made the decision, and I would not think about it again, even if it's a life affecting decision, because having made it, I'm done. I can't control whether it's going to succeed, but I can control myself to make a decision. And when I teach that to people, like they say, should I stay in going to school or should I move to New York? I said, whichever one you do, once you make that decision, never think of it again. And then it's a success, even if it doesn't work out.
Right. Well, Gretzky,
awesome.
Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest athletes ever, used to say, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And I am a firm believer of that. And, and I like people who take a chance, roll the die, make sure that, that you feel confident about it. Go out there, do it. That's it.
I think sports has always been ahead in terms of consciousness of art, because artists are much more, dainty about whether their art is landing or not. And you cannot be successful in sports unless you adopt the mindset that you just talked about.
Right. And you actually have to take that opportunity. And I think our audience, whomever they may be, and from wherever they are around the world, is listening to this and saying, you know what, this is something special, and they got to take that opportunity. They take that chance. And Kenny, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming. I hope you can come back on again with us. And I'm going to bring you in as my opening act. And I'm going to throw you to the lions and see how you do.
You better be making a lot of money, because if I'm an opening act, I need to be making a lot of money.
Listen,
and you need to be making more than me. So
well, look, we're gonna take you to a diner after, get you a cheeseburger deluxe. You're gonna be great, okay? Don't worry about it.
Man, you guys are fantastic.
Oh man, listen, we loved having you on the air. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Werner. Go get the book. And, Kenny, again, thanks so much on behalf of myself, Janice and JR. Thank you so much for being on A Pinch of Basile.
So great to meet you guys. Just coming off getting to hear from New York. If you had been other people with a serious thing, I would have been like rumbling. But I saw you. I saw you guys and said, oh, great, we're just going to have fun here. So
absolutely. We always have fun.
Thank you.
No two ways about it. Thanks so much, Kenny. Have a great evening. Thank you.
To meet you.
Thank God bless. All right, folks, you heard the man, Kenny Werner.
That was
take
great.
the shot.
That was
take
fun.
the best shot. That was great. It was a great interview, and actually,
I feel like running through a damn brick wall right now. He was motivational, man.
Oh, no two ways about it. You got to take the shots. You got to take those shots, and like he said, basically, if you don't take the shot, you've lost. You got to take the shot. You got to go out there. And there's always going to be 100 reasons why you can't do it, but there's only one reason, because you want to and you should. Anyway, listen, folks, it's been a pleasure.
Definitely.
I love you all. And Janice, have yourself a great week. JR, have yourself a great week. This is Basile signing off. You've been listening to A Pinch of Basile. Have a great week, everyone. God bless. Peace.